here we are. This is the biggest story this year, talking about putter technology. It really all focuses on what's going on with that face insert. It's all about what happens when the putter hits the ball and what the ball does. So you've been deep in that story for years and years and years. So bring us up to date on where you've been and where you're going.
Yes. Wow. It all went back to when we were doing the Fat Lady putter in 1994. This was the best feeling putter in the world. It not only worked and people were successful, we won a lot of tour events all around the globe. I mean, we had Seve Ballesteros putting with the thing over. I mean, everybody. It was because of the feel. The roll was good, but the feel was amazing. All right. So now we went from the Fat Lady Sandcast into machining aluminum mallets. We went into the Fat Man, the Pipsqueak, the Cute Kid, all these different sized mallets machined out of 6061 aircraft aluminum. Well, guess what? That was much harder aluminum than this. I saw that immediately. We still had a following. We still sold a boatload of putters, but I was unhappy because I could tell it was harder, and I don't like harder feel. I don't like it. I like soft and solid. And not soft and dead, soft and solid. So we were on literally a trek to find the best material to put in a putter. And it took us a long time. I mean, we were cutting up everything we could find, from wood type materials to all kinds of metals. We tried plastics. We tried, it was amazing. And what happened was, we're with, Nick Price was with Precept balls. You remember, one of his sponsors was Precept. And we had some of his golf balls in the shop. Now, remember, I had an R&D place that had multiple CNC machines and engineers just for R&D and tour support. Forget the production stuff. And so our guys are they're instructed to cut anything up and put it in the face and let's try it. Anything you could find. Well, they grab a Precept ball and they cut it right in half. And it's got a pink core. And we looked at it and went, oh, that looks weird. And they cut it up and got it into sections. These little sections about a 1/4 inch deep. And they had to glue 3 pieces together, and they milled the pocket in the face and put it in the face, glued together in the seams. And we had a 38-foot putting green in our conference room, right, with a whole glass case of collection of all my old classic clubs. So we had the conference table, and that's where we all had our meetings, and we would putt, and we would have fun. Well, every time we brought in an R&D putter, we'd run over to the putting green, and we'd hit some putts. And I had some guys that, I didn't hire college degrees guys. I hired golf eyes guys. I call it that because if they didn't have golf eyes, if they couldn't tell what was square, open, hooked, if they weren't a player, a golfer, I didn't want them in my shop, because I don't want blind people trying to put my golf clubs together. And so the college degree didn't matter to me. The golf degree mattered to me. And so one guy, I'll never forget, he was my #1 tour rep. I'd always send him in there to go hit a putt with it, and he comes out going, "You're not going to believe how this thing feels. You don't believe how this thing rolls." Oh, well, we all putting with it, and we didn't realize what the material was. We just knew it was the inside of the Precept ball. And we find out through my general manager, who was at the shop at the time, he was best friends with the best golf ball designer in the world. He's got a ranch in South Carolina, and he's got a ranch over in Malaysia. And he says, well, I know a guy that, my buddy knows what that material is and how to make that. And I said, really? And he says, yeah, give me a minute. He calls him up, says, back then it's fax, no email, not much. So fax in your resume. So I look at his resume, and this guy is named Larry Cadorniga. You can look him up. He made golf balls all the way back to the 70s. He designed the Wilson staff in the 70s. He designed the Pinnacle ball for Titleist. He designed the low trajectory for Titleist. He designed the Maxfly HT. He designed the golf ball that Nicklaus won the Masters with, the McGregor golf ball in '86. On and on and on. He's one of the best there is. And I said, wow. I called him up and I asked him, I said, why does this thing feel so good? He said, oh, well, it has a rebound and it has a particular softness. He says, you must like that combination, but we can alter that in whatever way you want. When we mix this stuff up like taffy, you're watching taffy being made, right? That's what it looks like. You're mixing sand and silicas and all kinds of into a rubber material, synthetic rubber, and you mix it according to how lively you want it and how hard or soft you want it. These are two different entities in one product. So we told him what we wanted, all the different levels of hardness and rebounds and all that stuff. And he said, well, I'll mix up 5 batches. And he goes over near in South Carolina. We're in St. Pete, Florida at the time. He does all his mixing, and it looks like when you're done with it, plastic explosive. I mean, it looks like plastique. He's flying into he's a Filipino guy. He's flying into Tampa Airport with this. Looks like explosive. Now, if this was after 9/11, there was no chance. You would have had to ship the stuff. Because he comes in through the airport, and they stopped him. They said, whoa, what's this? And he pulls out his resume, he pulls out this and that, and they go, oh, okay, so they're poking it and all. I mean, it was funny story, because he laughed about it coming in. He says, oh, yeah, they all stopped me at Tampa Airport. They thought it was a big problem. So he comes in, we go to TSE, a big plant near us that does the molding and has all these machines for just molding. I had my guys cut CNC. They CNC cut the molds for us to fit in our putters. So it would be a mold that would look like this. Okay, this is 1996 when we invented this stuff or found what we wanted. And this is what they call polybutadiene. Polybutadiene is a synthetic rubber mixed up to the combinations you want for your feel and resilience of rebound. So we make this down at TSE, bring it in, start putting it in, and we found out through testing how far the ball would go and how soft it felt. This is what we wanted. We had a bunch of different renditions, but this one hit it just a little past a metal hit and was softer, and it felt incredible. Now, fast forward a week later, we go out to the tour, and my number 1 rep's there, and we're standing on the green, and we grab Peter Jacobson, and we said, here, hit this, pro, and he hits the 30-footer, snakes it in. He looks at us, hits another one, the second one goes in, snakes in 2 30-footers in a row, and he looks up, he says, what the heck is this material? And my buddy says, he didn't want to tell him it's polybutadiene. I mean, what is that? It doesn't sound very sexy. He says, it's hole-seeking material, pro, just hit it. And he hits it again, almost makes another one. He says, this feels unbelievable. So from that moment on, it was HSM, hole-seeking material. And this stuff has lived on since 1996 in many different renditions. Okay, so 1996, 97, we were killing the tour and just doing all kinds of fun stuff. Fortune Brands comes to buy us, buys the company. I designed for Cobra Golf, and we then designed and patented a method of putting Cobra in the face. Look at that, engraved Cobra in the face and engraved Cobra. These are the same material, different color. And when you snapped it together, okay, and then you milled it off, the black Cobra name would come up inside the face. Brilliant. Yeah. One of the better patents we had. And it was just a wonderful item. This went through, by the way, when we were with Cobra Golf, think about it, Fortune Brands owns Titleist FootJoy, and Scotty Cameron beat me to that program. He was bought in 93, I was bought in 97. So I went over to Cobra. Well, they're trying to protect the Golden Boy, so they kept him on the PJ Tour. And I understood. They were paying us all a lot of money, and we're all in the same team anyways. But they said, you're going to go to the Champions Tour, and we're going to give you a budget, and you're going to be able to write contracts for tour players and all. With this material, we became from 0 in December of 1997 to April of 98. We were number 1 on the Durrell survey. And in April of 1998 down in Sarasota, we have a world record that still stands today with this material. We finished 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th place. Nobody's ever done that with a putter company, ever. I don't think they're gonna.
Wow.
Yeah. that was the coolest time I'll ever remember, because we looked at, we finished so many of our horses were finishing right. We had to go back to the Darrell survey and look and see, oh my gosh, we got all 10. That was amazing. Anyways, Darrell survey can prove that. John Minkley, Atlanta, Florida. All right, so that's 2000. I get the company back from Cobra, long story. It's a good story for me. And changed it to burgundy. Didn't change the makeup, the hardness or anything, because it's really well done. Then I invented the triangular putter, the Amazing Grace putter, which had the highest MOI, multi-metal, deep weighting, the whole bit. It was ahead of its time. With this in the face, it felt amazing. So we put Amazing Grace on the two sides of the putter. This was a real home run. Then, 3 years later, McGregor Golf comes and says, we need you to be our designer. We don't want to buy your company. I said, fine, we can sit down and talk. I call up Larry Cadorniga again. I said, I need help. I need to make higher rebounds out on the poles of the insert. We figured out that you lose distance out on the toe and the heel because it's not in the sweet spot. If you can increase the rebounds, which we not only wrote the patent on, got it patented and USGA approved, but there is one of the examples of the multi-rebound face that was first off flat face, not radial face. And you could see it was a little ugly on the sidebar, but what we did was pad print it because it's golf ball material. So it's like a golf ball paint, to show you the sections in nice clean form. But this thing worked wonderful. So if you hit it out on the toe 3/4 inch, it went exactly the same distance as the center hit with a sweet spot. HSM material, same material again, really cool. Just played with the rebounds. And then, lo and behold, I buy the company back in 2009, had to come up with another mousetrap, right? Roll the ball earlier. This HSM face actually has a curve, a radial face. The center of the radius is above the equator of the ball. I grew up playing pool. The only way to put topspin on a cue ball is to hit the top half of the cue ball. This insert makes contact with the top half of the ball and it rolls instantly. You'll not see anybody else in the world engrave instant roll on the bottom of their putters. That's what we've got. That's the story of insert technology. Where we're heading, who knows? There's got to be something else out there.